Hello friends, just yesterday a viewer sent me a link to this PDF which is published by the Biblical Research Institute or BRI at the General Conference. It's dated last year, 2020, but I've never heard of this paper and I'm surprised that nobody else has mentioned this. But anyway, it's published at their website under releases. If you are interested in the topic of Adventists and abortion, you will want to check this out. You'll find it quite interesting. It's just a general paper, nothing specific to the Adventist Church, no mention of our history, no mention of the pioneers or hospitals. It's just about abortion in general. Since I've already read so much about this topic, I personally didn't find anything remarkable except for two statements that are worthy of our attention. On page 39 it states the biblical understanding of the unborn child as being fully human in each and every stage of development. Now that is a very big, very important statement, especially because it contradicts the official book, What Adventists Believe, and our official dictionaries, which claim that the unborn are not living human beings until after they are born. The BRI statement affirms that all the way through this process we are dealing with life. After the fusion of egg and sperm, the zygote, as a new entity with a full genetic code, is alive. Being human begins with the fusion of egg and sperm, and since prenatal life is of immense value to God, abortion falls under the legislation of the Sixth Commandment. These are big statements that we never hear from anywhere else in our church. The Religious Liberty Department and leaders, especially in North America, are constantly puffing out all this mysterious, esoteric, science-denying spiritual woo. This, however, affirms both the scientific and biblical fact that brand new, distinct human life begins with the completion of the process of fertilization. And it's probably precisely because of this that nobody in the church has heard about this from the BRI, because church leaders, they know that if they bring attention to this, it will unravel and undermine all of their false narratives. Also, this right here, while we have freedom of choice and may decide to use it by taking life, we have no right. There is no right to do so. Freedom of conscience does not include the right to physically harm, let alone kill another human being. And this is my favorite quote: "If choice as a concept is used where? Used in official documents, but the limits of Christian freedom are not spelled out, then the concept may become misleading, because freedom of choice may, in the mind of the audience, influenced by the who, by the surrounding culture, become a license to do whatever our sinful hearts desire to do, independent of God's will." Now that is a very big statement, because the BRI is making it very clear that if the Adventist Church claims that abortion is a religious liberty or matter of conscience, and if Adventist leadership fail to teach the church exactly what that means, then they are guilty of allowing the culture to do the explaining for them. I'm glad to see that the BRI even cites from the Pew Research that 42% of Adventists in North America say that killing children should be legal in all or most cases. That's a serious problem. This whopping 42% is a direct result of Adventist leadership, number one, falsely claiming that killing children is a religious freedom, and number two, failing to explain to the church why this is so. And this is exactly why I have to make my videos. So in a sense, the BRI is indirectly affirming the need for my videos. Mark Finley, Ivor Myers, Dennis Priebe, Eric Walsh, The Forerunner, Dwight Nelson, John Lomacang, Conrad Vine, etc., on and on, they and many others claim that killing children is a religious freedom, but they never explain why, and they cannot, because it's a lie. So overall, this paper has some good points. I, of course, have several criticisms, the greatest being that, at least to me, it comes across as really wimpy and not wanting to offend anyone. I'm referring especially to the end where he deals with the, quote, difficult cases. There is definitely a need for very strong masculine leadership who are unafraid to say what needs to be said. This was definitely written in a manner not to offend anyone in Adventist church leadership. But having said that, there are still some really good points in the paper. One point that you might find interesting is that they quote from an author who claims that the translation of the Sixth Commandment was changed in the middle of the 20th century from do not kill to do not murder, and that this was the result of evangelicals wanting to become more mainstream, growing connection to militarism and influence of culture. That's something I've never heard of before, and I'd like to read more about it. The author, by the way, is a Mennonite. Anyways, in my opinion, the main takeaway from this paper is that leaders of the Adventist church, they know full well what science says, they know full well what the scriptures say, but we continue to support killing children in spite of all this evidence. They know that it's wrong and cannot be defended, but we do it anyway.